Scott Holiday here, and thank you to everyone that was checking out my Who Will Buy the WWE video. And the point of that video was to make funny little predictions about different companies that would buy the WWE, and of course, some of that stuff is going to be wrong. But the one thing I did not expect to get wrong in that video was the idea that the WWE owned Santino Marella. Santino Marella came back in Impact Wrestling as Santino Marella and is the new authority figure for Impact. Welcome back, you son of a gun. And now, let's plug in. CZW returns to the State Theater in Havre de Grace, Maryland for Limelight 13, where you will see Milk Chocolate's Brandon Watts take on Miami Mike Walker of Postgame and CMD's Boom Harden, along with Dave McCall from The Rep, in a four-way battle with all of their tag team partners handcuffed to the ring post. Also, we are happy to announce the return of a former CZW champion. Leo Rush will be joining us at Limelight 13. You're not going to want to miss this one, so head over to czwrestling.com for more information. The doors open at 5 and the bell rings at 6, and I will see you there. Also, High Tension Wrestling returns with Spring Breakdown 93. Come to a very nice place. That's 1301 South Christopher Columbus Boulevard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for Spring Breakdown. We will be announcing matches very, very soon, but you're going to want to get your tickets now. Information is available in the links below. So we're a little bit later in 2023 than I hoped we'd be by the time I made this video, but that's fine. Here we go. This will be my top 10 independent wrestlers to watch in 2023. Now, I want to be very clear on what this means. One, that means I'm not talking about anyone who's signed. These are all independent wrestlers that I believe will make huge strides in 2023. Also, when I say huge strides here, I'm saying that they're going to make waves and they should be on your radar. I'm trying not to pick any independent wrestlers that are already pretty established in the scene. I don't think you need to hear me say that Tony Deppen, Effie, and Trish Adora are wonderful. If you do, Tony Deppen, Effie, and Trish Adora are wonderful. But that's not what this list is about. These are people who I think may be unknowns to you, but these are people that I think in the very near future are going to be making a name for themselves in the world of professional wrestling. Also, I want to be very clear that because we're picking more obscure wrestlers and not the ones that have already established themselves, this is going to be very limited in scope to people that I'm aware of. So this is going to be my very personal look. So if you're sitting at home thinking, hey, where's Randy Myers? He just became Boom Pro Wrestling's Vancouver City champion. I don't know that. It's not a federation I cover. Also, hello to Randy Myers. You are the wrestler that I happened to Google for this bit. And lastly, I just want to say I had to cross off my list Action Andretti. Congratulations once again on the AEW contract. Number 10. To start things off, there are only a few wrestlers that I can say that I had the honor of calling their very first match. There are even fewer wrestlers who I can say I wrestled in their first match. Yeah, that list is surprisingly not zero, though. But there is only one person who can say that I called and wrestled them in their first match. And that goes to the cameraman turned wrestler, Brian Ace. Brian Ace made his debut in the Powerball Rumble, a match that I was also in. I gave him a chop in the chest for literally no reason, just because I was feeling feisty.
What's he gonna ask for?
And every time I see him, he continues to improve. He is very new to the game, but he's always been a great student of the game. I've known Brian Ace for a while. He's been a cameraman at many of the shows that I've worked, and it's been a pleasure seeing him get into the ring. He's very much still learning the craft, but every time you see him, you can tell that he's learning from his past mistakes. So keep an eye on Brian Ace. Number 9. Number 9 on my list, but number 500 on the PWI, it's Big Dust. Big Dust is basically the manager of the Goons, and the Goons have been making a lot of waves in the world of professional wrestling, and it is a stable just full of talent. Killian McMurphy, Miles Millennium, Eel O'Neill, Rob Rackey, A.K. Willis, just all fantastic talents. So then why am I picking Big Dust? Well, one, by picking Big Dust, I was able to include all those names in this list, even though I only have one spot available. And two, Big Dust is basically the glue that holds the Goons together. I believe in a couple years, we will be talking about Big Dust and the Goons the way we talk about Bobby the Brain and the Heenan family. I really have that much faith in Big Dust, so please keep an eye out for him. Number 8. We're now going to go into a different area of professional wrestling. We're going to go into the deathmatch world of professional wrestling, where my number 8 was probably the least known man to enter Tournament of Death. But man, did he leave an impression, and that's Brad Cash, the master of the shark tooth baseball bat. He carries around baseball bats that he has glued real shark teeth to. It is one of the most unique things I've seen in professional wrestling, and seeing it used as a weapon is something I promise you will never forget. So, for your own safety, keep an eye out for Brad Cash. Number 7. Number 7 on my list is not just one of my favorite professional wrestlers, but one of my absolute favorite people, and that, of course, is the Spoiler. Mike! What do you mean, what? Why does it say the Spoiler on my teleprompter? I would never write that. You know I hate the Spoiler. Mike, I swear, if I turn around and there's a picture of the Spoiler up, I'm going to lose my mind. It's a green screen for me, so I don't actually know what's there. But it better not be a picture of the Spoiler. Cut this out. My number 7 is one of my absolute favorite people, and that is, of course, Shay McCoy. Shay McCoy, you might know as a member of the Outsiders, or the Outfielders, rather, along with Weber Hatfield. And you may have seen Shay McCoy in a couple of multi-person matches, or trios matches, or tag team matches, but I remember back in 2021, Shay had a couple of really good street fights with Athrun Amata that really left an impression in my mind. I really think we are a few really strong singles matches away from the real coming out party of Shay McCoy. If we can see a couple of really good single matches out of Shay, everyone will know the name of Shay McCoy. Number 6. Number 6 on my list, I was trying to do some research so I had some more things to say about him, and he doesn't even have a profile yet on Cage Match, which I think is unfair. And that's Chris Slade. Chris Slade is a fantastic athlete. He looks like a star. He has a very high-flying style, but it's also full of strikes that really look like they hurt you. He's been tying it up recently with stars like Rich Swann and Serpentico. I met Chris Slade a long time ago, possibly in cosplay, and you could just tell by the way he carried himself that he has the tools to really go far in the world of professional wrestling. So it might be a bit hard to find these days. He recently was in the King of Maryland tournament. You might have seen him there, but definitely keep an eye out because you'll be surprised. by Chris Slade. Number 5. So I have the honor to say that I sat next to this man when he made his debut in the world of color commentating, and it was immediately apparent to me that he knows how to tell a story in professional wrestling. Because even though he had never done commentary before, his knowledge of professional wrestling was pretty clear because he was instantly able to craft the storytelling elements of wrestling from the outside. And then I saw him in the ring, and he was pretty great there too. And that is, of course, Miami Mike Walker. Miami Mike had a heck of a year last year. He was tying it up with CMD most of the year. He was teaming with Lince Dorado till Lince Dorado turned on him. And now he's part of Post Game, along with the standout athlete Vinny Tallada, and is looking to get gold in CZW of the tag team variety, having a huge victory recently where he actually gets to choose the stipulation when we will crown new CZW champions. And you can see Miami Mike Walker at Limelight 13 on February 5th. But Miami Mike definitely has that little extra in him. He connects very well with a crowd very quickly, and he's also got singles gold outside of CCW. He recently retained the MCW Rage TV title at Seasons Beatings. Oh. Number 4! My number 4 is someone that I actually got to interview after their very first professional wrestling match at a secret show where we immediately destroyed the tapes. But it's still a very special moment to me, and that's Edith Surreal. Edith Surreal has been making a lot of waves in the world of professional wrestling after getting the stamp of approval from Effie and appearing at the Big Gay Brunch brought to us by Game Changer Wrestling. Since then, she's gone on to have fantastic matches at places like Enjoy and has a fantastic program going currently with Killian McMurphy at Vibe. She also holds the LLL Women's Championship and the Invictus Women's Championship, and recently picked up the Christmas Trios victory as part of the Pop Art Flyers, along with Shay McCoy, who is also on this list, and Weber Hatfield. Do I hate Weber Hatfield? It's weird that I picked everyone but Weber Hatfield to be on this list. Number 3. Question for you. How many Butterfinger championships do you have? Is it 2? Then you don't hold more than the Butterfinger champion, the Savage Gentleman, Victor Benjamin. Victor Benjamin has been tying it up with a lot of big names like Brian Cage, Delirious, Josh Woods, and he seems to always be positioned kind of in a number 1 contender position because he can make a champion look really, really good. He did pick up gold. He had the Catalyst Wrestling Freestyle title for a little bit, but he hasn't really had his crowning moment yet. Someone needs to pick him up and really strap the rocket to him because he can make your company look really, really strong. On top of that, the first time I ever saw Victor Benjamin, he was tag teaming with Lady Frost in intergender tag team matches. And while intergender tag team matches aren't the biggest draw, it was some of the most amazing work I've ever seen. They did things in the ring that I had never seen before. And now, with Lady Frost back on the independent scene, that is a very capable arrow in the quiver of Victor Benjamin. So keep an eye out for him. Number 2. Number 2 on my list, and my second McCoy of the list, it's the top guy, Griffin McCoy. And I say on commentary all the time about this man that no one works harder than him. Every time I see Griffin McCoy get into the ring, it's the best version of Griffin McCoy I've ever seen. And that's not just some jive that I say on commentary. He works incredibly hard, and he gets crisper and stronger and faster every time I see him. He had a fantastic match. Might be one of the top matches I've ever gotten to call against Kenta at CZW The Arrival. And the only thing missing from Griffin McCoy's game right now is a championship. Luckily, he is currently qualified for the Best of the Best tournament, and he's looking to make that first title in his trophy case the CZW Championship, which I'm sure will be, if he can win it, the first of many. Number 1. My number 1, I feel like I had to put at number 1 because it seemed like every time I went to social media, every time I opened Twitter, this person had just won something else. They seemed to just be on this huge winning streak, and they just added another accomplishment every time I looked at social media. And this is a person that I feel like can do everything. Like, I think they can be very funny. I think they can be very intense. I think they're a fantastic technical wrestler. I think they're a fantastic tag team wrestler. I think they're good as a face. I think they're good as a heel. Every time I've seen this person, I'm always leaving entertained. And they continue to rack up quite the resume, winning the Super 8 tournament, the PWM Championship, the ECWA Legacy Championship, and the ECWA Unified Heavyweight Championship. My number 1 independent wrestler to watch is Erica Lay. Personally, I think Erica is ready for the big time. I know she's already appeared on AEW Dark, but I think she is a TV-ready wrestler. And the fact that she has not been snatched up by one of the big companies yet is probably the thing I find most surprising about her. So I beg of you, watch Erica Lee, because she'll be gone before you know it. And that's it. That's going to be my list. Who did I miss? Lots of people, I'm sure. I only know so many. So please let me know in the comments below who you think belongs to be on the list of independent wrestlers to keep an eye on in 2023. And maybe I'll make 11 through 15 based on your suggestions. Also, while you're down there, check out the description. Not only will you find the link to buy tickets to HTW's Spring Breakdown 93, you'll also find the social media of everyone I listed on this list. Thank you so much for spending some time here with me today. If you want more information on these little videos that I make, be sure to subscribe to Plus 2 Wrestling. And I hope you have a great day.